During this lecture, we'll be talking about autoimmune diseases and the causes of autoimmunity. First of all, let's understand what these diseases are and how they can arise. This is due, generally speaking, to the inability of the immune system to distinguish between self and non-self cells and tissues, obviously. There's one thing that we have to note here is that, generally speaking, our body has a very sophisticated mechanism to make sure that these cells that actually come up and mature into antigen-presenting cells can distinguish between self and non-self cells. However, the problem arises when there is a problem or a defect in these areas. We're going to be, by the way, talking about this in a separate video. This is called central tolerance. However, the most important thing is to know that there is a mechanism that is very smart and accurate in our body that can and does allow the cells in our body to distinguish between these cells. Now, moving on, or antigens specifically. Now, some causes of autoimmunity. First of all, we've got the release of the sequestered antigens. Generally speaking, upon necrosis of cells, the cells are going to be releasing antigens, and these are going to be foreign to our body and our immune system. Now, what I meant by this parenthesis, what I meant by these quotation marks, is that these are not necessarily foreign. However, the immune system has not been exposed to these antigens before. Therefore, they are going to be thinking that these are actually foreign. So now, obviously, I just want to make sure that everyone knows that necrosis and apoptosis are very similar mechanisms that happen within our body. Necrosis and apoptosis are actually programmed cell death, contrary to what people sometimes say, and this is, by the way, proved by many articles, that necrosis is also programmed. However, the main difference between the two is that necrosis actually, there's the release of certain cytokines that are pro-inflammatory when necrosis happens, and this does not happen when apoptosis happens. Moving on, this is going to be triggered by an injury or infection. So this, the release of these sequestered antigens that are present within the cells and the miscommunication in our body and the misinterpretation of our cells or immune system is not generally natural. However, it is going to be triggered by an injury or infection. Now, immune stimulation. Microbial infections could stimulate the antigen-presenting cells, namely the dendritic cells, which are the best, if you want, antigen-presenting cells, to carry self-antigens. We know that antigen-presenting cells are simply going to be holding these antigens, waiting for T helper cells in order to make sure and get the signal from them so they can get stimulated. Now, if this happens at a very high level, the immune system is going to be mounting an exaggerated response, which breaks energy. Now, to know more about energy and this part of autoimmunity, make sure to watch the rest of the videos on bee biology.